Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of Kids Zone, the Christian education moment designed for the entire family. This month we are celebrating and focusing all of our efforts into looking at the lives of women as we celebrate Women's History Month, particularly the women in the Bible who are wonderful examples of what it means to be Christian. For God made us all here as humans to be placed as they're placed here on this earth and for a particular reason. But specifically we want to honor and highlight the roles of women in the Bible to teach us different lessons and for us to celebrate sometimes those who are the unnamed, the ones that are not celebrated, the ones that are often forgotten. And so today's lesson focuses on the judge herself, Deborah. Here comes the judge. Deborah in the Bible, in the book of Judges, was a pivotal character, pivotal person that helped move the people of Israel closer to their destiny. Judges were leaders that represented the wise counsel that people needed during that particular time in Israel's history. This is before kings were developed, that there were judges, lowercase j, many judges that ruled during this time. But the Bible says that this woman was called to lead and that at that particular time she led Israel as one of its judges. And the Bible speaks of her character as being one that provided wisdom and sound counsel and one that was respected and well looked after for encouragement in times of need. Deborah represents what many of us see often in our world within women who are in leadership. They're able to hold it down on many fronts and be able to provide different levels of care and comfort and nurturing while getting the job done at the same time. Wow. Deborah, one that was poised and able to lead a country and a people who, even in their middle of uncertainty, in the middle of them being folks who didn't always do what was right, Israel had this relationship with God where they would trust God one day and not trust God the other. They would believe God to do something and then doubt and sin against God by doing the exact opposite of what God would tell them to do. And Judge Deborah was very consistent that told the people of God, if you do this, then this will happen. If you do this, then this will come back to you. Some scholars call this a certain type of theology that when you are faithful to God, God will be faithful unto you. And when you disobey God, you will reap the destruction and disobedience, the consequences of what disobedience has. And so Deborah is one that we want to lift up today because she teaches us what it means to be in leadership, what it takes in order to be sound and to be able to provide what we need in a world where people are split in different spaces. If we could be more like Deborah and stand on our values and understand who we are. See, Deborah didn't mind what people may have said about her. It didn't matter her gender, but she knew that she was called by God and called for a purpose. Even in her story, and I hope parents are focusing and reading Judges with your children to show them this wonderful superhero character. She is a bad mama jamma, stronger and wise and even smart, to able to give people the knowledge and the pathway and the blueprint they need in order to get out. When Barak was not President Barak, but the Barak in the Bible was afraid to go the next step and said, hey Deborah, I will only go if you would go. Deborah did not ridicule him. She didn't shade him. She didn't talk about him in a bad way. What she does is she goes and does her job and stands with him. And what do we learn about Deborah? Deborah is someone who's also supportive. She supports those who are in need and supports other leaders. If we could be like Deborah, maybe we would be a more loving society. You know what it's like when folks don't want to be as supportive when someone else is having something going on for them, whether it's good or bad. Most people like to see other folks when they're down. But Deborah is one that even if you're up or you're down, she was consistent to be there all the time. She wasn't going to talk about you. She wasn't going to bring you down, talk about your weakness. No, Deborah was strong and confident in who she was. And because of that, she shows us of what exemplary leadership looks like is one that is selfless, one that knows who we are, that has self-identity and self-awareness, and one that is committed and motivated. Deborah knew that God had given her a specific word for us today. Shout out to Deborah, and shout out to the Deborahs in our communities, those who are standing up and advocating for the rights of all people in our communities. Deborahs, the ones that are that may be talked about or put in a certain box because of who they are or their gender or their size or the skin color. But no, Deborah breaks those boxes and shatters those glasses and leads and becomes one of Israel's most historical figures in our time. And we say her name today where you are. Why don't you type it in the comments? Why don't you say her name where you are and say and shout, Deborah. We thank God for Deborah and believe that no matter who you are, where you are, or how old you are, we can look to Deborah as a guidance today of what it means to have to be able to walk in our light, to be who God has created us to be confident in that, and to walk with our head held high. Much love to our sister Deborah, and much love to the Deborahs in our community. May you continue to shine bright. May you continue to lead us all. We need you. We are waiting for you to lead us to the next direction. Thank God for Deborah. That's all we have for you today, and I continue to celebrate all women all month long and all year long, for God is an amazing God, and God does extraordinary things through all people. Happy, happy, happy Women's History Month. Have a great week.